The new, more contagious Omicron variant is now the dominant coronavirus strain in the United States. The CDC says Omicron now makes up 73% of all new COVID cases nationwide, overtaking the Delta strain, which has been spreading rapidly through the country for months. The CDC director says she saw this coming.
And that was, as you note, expected based on the growth rates of how quickly Omicron is transmitted across other countries and around the world. We anticipated that this number would be about this high at around this time.
New this morning, health officials in Texas are now confirming what's believed to be the first death from the Omicron variant, an unvaccinated patient. All this comes as President Biden plans to speak on the rapidly spreading Omicron variant later today, just days after coming into contact with someone in the White House who later tested positive for COVID. We have a team covering everything you need to know about the Omicron variant this morning, including the federal response and COVID's impact on the busy travel season. Let's begin with NBC News medical reporter Erika Edwards and NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli. So, Erika, what are you hearing from the CDC about Omicron's dominance in the U.S. right now?
Good morning, Joe. You know, even experts who study viruses all the time have been astonished at how quickly this variant has taken over. Now, that speed plus the variant's ability to break through, and in fact, even people who are fully vaccinated have health officials really concerned about the variant's potential. Now, last night, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky also said that anyone who is eligible to get that booster shot should go ahead and get it. She once again urged anyone to go get the boosters. Here's what she had to say.
What we do know about the Omicron variant, it's got over 50 mutations. And because of those mutations, just being vaccinated with 2 doses may not be enough.
More than 61% of the U.S. population is considered fully vaccinated, but just under 30% has gotten that booster shot. Joe?
So, Mike, the president is expected to speak about this today. What can we expect to hear from President Biden on Omicron and this quick surge in cases?
Well, Joe, White House officials say that this is not a speech about locking down the country. So no new restrictions on a national level expected to be announced by the president today. But the president will offer a very stark warning about the fact that if you remain unvaccinated, you're heading into a winter in which you face a very strong risk of severe illness and potentially even death. So obviously the president will be encouraging Americans who have not yet been vaccinated or boosted to do just that. But the president will also be outlining several steps his administration is taking to try to deal with this winter surge. And it has to do with 2 issues, testing and hospital capacity. The president's going to be announcing that FEMA actually will be deployed to help set up additional capacity for hospital sites. The president also announcing that there will be 20,000 new federal testing sites to open. The first will open up in New York City before Christmas. And then this issue of testing is so important. The president's going to be announcing that the federal government has purchased 500 million take-home tests that will be available to any American who wants to request one. They'll be sent by mail, and they can be requested as soon as this week. You'll remember, Joe, that the White House earlier had announced that any American who wanted to purchase those at-home tests would be able to get reimbursed by their insurance company starting in the new year. That is still going to be the case, but this will be offering Americans an opportunity to do those without any out-of-pocket costs.
And the need for those tests is great right now. So, Erika, I want to ask you about what's happening in Texas. Officials there now reporting what's believed to be the first Omicron death in the U.S. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this was a man in his 50s in the Houston area. Officials said he had not been vaccinated, although he previously had been infected with COVID-19. He also had some kind of underlying health condition, which put him at greater risk for complications of COVID-19 overall. Now, even though anecdotally it seems many Omicron cases have been mild, Joe, this is an unfortunate example that is not always the case.
And perhaps a reminder why vaccinations are so important. So, Mike, the White House says President Biden, who is vaccinated, came into contact with a staff member last week who then later tested positive for COVID. What are we learning about this case, and could it impact today's speech at all?
So what the White House is revealing now is that a mid-level staffer, as they're describing it, tested positive over the weekend after experiencing symptoms on Sunday, and that this individual had been in close contact with President Biden, actually flew with him on Air Force One from South Carolina to Philadelphia on Friday. The president, who undergoes regular testing himself, did receive an antigen test as part of that regular testing on Sunday, had a PCR test at the White House yesterday, has tested negative. The White House is saying, and Press Secretary Jen Psaki said in a statement last night, that because the federal rules are that if any individual who is vaccinated and boosted does not need to be quarantined, the president will go ahead with his schedule. But, Joe, somebody who covered the campaign, this White House, this campaign, had felt very proud that the president, then candidate Biden, made it through that campaign without facing a positive test himself. So serious concern about a potential outbreak here at the White House now.
All right. And Eric, I'm going to ask you to put on your sports reporting cap for just a second here as the White House lays out its plan to lessen the variant's impact. Omicron is leaving a major mark on the sports world, causing the NHL to actually pause its season entirely. What more can you tell us?
That's right. The National Hockey League will pause its season as of tomorrow and not return until Monday, December 27th. Now, as of last night, more than 15% of the league's players were in virus protocols. 11 teams had already suspended operations. Now, the postponement of so many games, plus the ongoing COVID-19 outbreaks, also means the league's participation in the Winter Olympics is also up in the air. Officials are meeting to discuss whether they should even allow the players to travel to Beijing in just a few short weeks. They should announce their decision in the coming days. Joe?
Winter Games coming quickly. All right, Erika, Mike, thanks for kicking us off this morning.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.